Let's talk about it. Let's have a discussion about this. What Schweinsteiger said was nothing short of shocking. Nothing short of shocking. Because it was right there. And let me even go up straight off the back because I hate saying this because I always like to give guys I always demand from guys, give me a straight answer. But I'm sorry, this is a case of Schweinsteiger is right and he's wrong. It is a two flex. It is a two flex because Pep is partly to blame for for the decline of German football, but he isn't the main blame. And I think really the main blame has to go to the German FA. So let's go back to the very beginning. And I think the very beginning is when Pep arrived at when he arrived at Bayern Munich, which was the 13-14 season. Because what people say is, wait a minute, if Pep arrived in the 13-14 season, what happened in 24-14? Germany won the World Cup. So he's to blame for the bad stuff, but you can't praise him for the good stuff. But the difficulty of that is that 2014 dub, it was a culmination, and it started in 06 when Klinsmann was manager and Joachim Löw was the assistant. So that was just the culmination of what had been building up since 06. And Pep had only just arrived at Bayern Munich. So coming in and just remember, look at Pep in his first year in Man City. When it's coming to your first year, it is very hard to have any kind of an impact because you're learning a new culture, learning a new language, learning how things go. And remember, keep in mind, this is the first time ever in Pep's history that he had left Spain. So this was the first time he had ventured into a different league. Because by the time he came to England, he now understood the difficulties and the hurdles of what happens when you leave like your hometown league. So for me, there was not enough time to have any effects. So that German team couldn't have any Pep effects because it was all about what was a build-up of the generation that began in 06. That began in 06, but its real catalyst was 2010 because that was the introduction of Muller, Khedira, Ozil, and all those dudes. But I think what happened is the 14-15, so 13-14, 14-15, then 15-16, you saw the kind of football our Bayern were playing, and that's started to permeate its way through the league. Because guys, you have to remember this, because you have to now look back and think. Before Pep was hired, while Jupp Heynckes was still manager, the moment that Chelsea got that dub in 2012, the German guys, I think it's Karl-Heinz Rummenigge and Uli Hoeneß, they gave Pep a call saying, okay, look, Pep is the new guy. Because Pep came out crashing through the blocks. So it was seen as if this is the way football has to be played. This is modern football now. Because nobody had ever seen a team dominate or control games the way that Pep's Barcelona did in 2011. So the shockwaves that team sent around the footballing world was like, wow, this is how football has to be played. So everybody has to now follow Pep's orders. So they were like, no, Heynckes, this is a freaking bomb. Pep is the way to go. And what was supposed to happen is, Heynckes, okay, he wins the Bundesliga, he wins the DFB Pokal, and they get knocked out of the UCL. But it was weird because that Bayern team is arguably one of Bayern's greatest ever teams. They played great, amazing, super effective football, and they got the treble, deservedly so, and they're one of the best treble teams. So then what then happened was they're like, oh, but I thought Pep is the future, Heynckes is the past. That's not what was supposed to happen. But it's fine, okay, Pep's going to come and give us like another treble, but a treble playing even a better brand of football. That never happened. But once Pep came in though, I do feel that the effect is felt throughout the world. Because almost everywhere you go now, the keeper plays out from the back. Almost everywhere you go now, it's a false nine. And the psychology that is happening through coaches, and I think even from a young age, is we don't want those Miroslav Kloses. This is so perfect. So earlier today, I was just going through YouTube, and I think there's a YouTube channel where it shows you all the goals from World Cups. So I was watching all the goals from the '98 World Cup and the '02 World Cup. '02 World Cup. Where did I watch the '94? I think the '98. Yes, the '98 World Cup and the '02 World Cup. And what struck me was Germany. Remember Oliver Bierhoff? Remember Muller, the other Muller, from the '90s. Remember Closer, Klinsmann? Because when I just looked at how they were playing and how they were striking and how they were finishing, I was like, how do you go from Klinsmann, Bierhoff, Closer to Fulkrug? So you're telling me that in the whole of Germany who have given us Gerd Muller, Rudi Völler, Klinsmann, Muller, Bierhoff, that the best you can give me is Fulkrug? That's crazy. That's insane. Germany have always had strikers, little strikers. And you say to yourself, what causes that? That's why I say that for Pep, he isn't the main thing to blame, but he's just partly to blame. He's not the main guy to blame, but he's partly to blame because blame is the wrong word. You see, that's the thing. See, I'm just trying to break things down. Blame is the wrong word because there is a negative connotation put to blame. When you say, I blame you, it's a negative connotation. And Pep didn't do anything negative because the fact of the matter is his brand of football has won him 2 trebles. His brand of football pretty much equates him to the greatest league manager of all time. There is no manager who has accumulated more points and has been as successful in the league format than Pep. And I repeat, he's won 2 trebles with this way of playing. Although he tweaked a little bit for Man City, but it is still the general philosophy of keep the ball on the ground, pass, and we focus on passing the ball. Our main focus and the main way that we roll is passing the ball. And I think what Schweinsteiger's points was trying to make is, and this is the point I've been making for ages, why is the World Cup beautiful? What's the point of the World Cup? The World Cup is, this is my culture against your culture, who wins out? If everything is Europeanized, it's boring. I have the UCL for that. In the UCL, it is what it is. Everyone has a kind of a European psychology, although with a few tweaks. The thing of the World Cup is Argentina are coming with Argentina. Brazil are coming with Brazil. Germany are coming with Germany. Nigeria are coming with Nigeria. Japan. So they're all coming in with their psychology and their approach and their way of playing. Because a German team isn't a German team that isn't physical, isn't tough, isn't strong, and don't have a lethal striker. Like, that is what always Germany have been built on. Being efficient, being effective. That was what made that Heinkes Bayern team so good. Because, it wasn't pass, pretty. It's effectiveness. Economical and being effective. That is how it has always been. But what I've seen from Germany is they've tried to sort of mimic Spain. And mimic the way Pep way of playing. And I'm like, but Germany, this is not how you roll. This is not how you roll. Because Gundogan is a quality, amazing midfielder. He's a superb midfielder, but he's under the Pep guys. I think that Gundogan, on a technical footballing level, is overall a better footballer than Michael Ballack. Overall. But Ballack was just a lot more effective as a midfielder and a lot more clutch and had a greater impact on a game. Peak Ballack. So my thing here is Pep is only a small cause of what has happened to Germany, because the overall cause is this: German FA, German coaching, German youth system. Let's take it back, because it's so funny how history repeats itself. So, I think it was Euro 04, Germany did badly, really badly. And so Germany said, okay, after just the embarrassment of how badly they did in Euro 04, they said there now has to be a systematic, complete overhaul of the German football system. Switch began, I think, around 05, 06. So you saw a few elements of it in 06 with Bastian coming through, but it really began in 2010 because Khedira, Ozil, Mola, all of these guys were all a product of the whole revamped German footballing youth system to now try and actually improve German football, which obviously culminated in the 2014 World Cup dub. So for German football, it really is about going back to basics. Because this is the key thing about football. And I think this is the beauty about football. There isn't one way fixes all. There isn't one way. Look at that UCL final. Tactically, Inzaghi won. Inzaghi, from a tactical point of view, Inzaghi won. City won that game because they have a guy called Rodri, who just was effective. And Pepe even said this. Pep said that I'm a UCL winner because their striker didn't know how to finish, i.e. Lukaku. If Inter had a more clinical striker, Inter win that game. Because we all saw that game, tactically, Inzaghi figured out Pep. And Pep's passing game just couldn't work with Inzaghi's old school 90s, which is just about pack the midfield, use the wing backs, cut off the channels, and get that ball direct and hit those spaces using the wide men. Very old school, effective, economical 1994 football. Like Simone Inzaghi was taken back to 1994. So what that just showed is you can't crack the code of football. You can't crack the code of football. The various ways of approaching football will always come through. So the idea that, okay, this Peps were playing possession, keep hold of the ball, keep it down, and everything. It works for Spain. It works for certain players who have that certain kind of a skill set. And what I've always been saying is football is cultural. Look at our World Cup. Argentina won that World Cup by being Argentina. Like, when you look at how Argentina played, they played like Argentina, which is every man for himself. Where it's just direct goal, let's ride. Everybody dribbles. Like in Argentina, everyone dribbles. And you saw that. Look at what Di Maria, look at what Messi was doing for the World Cup, but look at what Di Maria did in that final. It's every man for himself. So that is why that was the beauty of the World Cup win. Was Argentina won that World Cup being Argentina. The Argentina that I grew up watching since 1994 with Caniggia, Maradona, Batistuta, Ayala, and all those dudes. So I just think that for Germany, the main blame is the German FA. Why haven't you produced better strikers? How can German football, the whole of German football that has given us some of the most lethal strikers, your best striker is Füllkrug, who wasn't even a starter? In what realm is Germany using a false nine? On what planet is Germany using a false nine? Because Havertz ain't a striker. Let's keep it a start. Havertz is not a striker. And Havertz will tell you straight that I am not a striker. So you now having Havertz as the front man, no, that's a false nine. And German football and German culture don't use the false nine. That's just not how German football works. And this is the thing. People say, oh, perhaps you can evolve. No. Italian culture today is the same as it was hundreds of years ago. Spanish culture, West African culture, East African culture, it is the same as it was hundreds of years ago. Culture doesn't really change. Tech changes, the people come in and changes, but the core characteristics of a culture doesn't change. It always remains the same. And because certain elements change because we evolve and it's a different world, but to those core things, an Englishman has always been an Englishman. A Portuguese has always really been a Portuguese. A Japanese has always essentially been a Japanese. A West African has always been a West African, an East African, an East African, a North African, and North African. Because those cultures, those values, they get passed down from family to family to family. So when you grow up with your grandparents, your father, your mother, those values, they get passed down. Because I know these are the values that we've had for hundreds and hundreds of years. Why should we change? We've had these values for hundreds of years. Why should we just turn up and just change those values? So when you keep in that, why should the football culture change? Because the culture of a country or an ethnicity bleeds into how they play. It's the thing with Brazil now. I was watching World Cup highlights, man. A tear almost came to my eye, and I was like, Brazil. Brazil used to be proud. Like what was this called? This jersey used to be something. That jersey used to be something, bro. Like, bro, maybe the world has changed, but when I was growing up, Germany, we're playing Germany. Brazil, we're playing Brazil. Oh Lord, we're playing Brazil. It's not like that anymore. So, but I just think, look, see, for the whole Pep thing, I love and I despise Pep's philosophy. What I love about Pep's philosophy is I hate crossing for no sense of crossing. And I like Pep's philosophy in the sense of keep the ball on the ground, don't waste crosses, and be intelligent on the ball. And try and walk your way through a defense rather than this backyard route one Brexit, give it to a winger and just aim aimlessly. So there is a lot more thought in how you're breaking down a team, which for me I think is a lot better. What I don't like about Pep's football is the crazy insistence and the mad dependence on passing the ball. Because I believe that what makes football beautiful is the ordered chaos, the randomization of I'm just going to go hit it long and see what happens. So the whole thing of like pass, it takes away the excitement from football. So I think that's the issue with Pep is I don't think he's found, for me, a middle ground of excitement, of passing and playing it long and going for the risk. The less risk and the high risk. I don't think he's found a middle ground. But for Germany, though, it's on you. You didn't have to take off on Pep's philosophy. So you can't blame him. He's just a coach. Pep didn't say, oh no, everybody must play this way. Because even for me, when I see goalkeepers who can't play from the back, playing from the back, I'm like, you're freaking morons. Pep can do that because he's got a keeper and defenders who can play from the back. But you've got De Gea, you've got Maguire. Why are you playing out from the back? Why are you playing out from the back? When you obviously don't have the players who can play out from the back. So for Germany, you don't know how to play the false nine because it's not in your nature. What is in your nature is an old school striker being physical and being tough. Which is what Schweinsteiger was saying, is that like the values that we've had of being physical, being tough, nobody can outrun us, they're gone. Because Germany right now look like a poor man's Spain. The way Germany play and they operate like a poor man's Spain. It's not Germany. It's not Germany. Because I know what Germany is when you face against these guys. So, no, but again, that's what. But the key thing I want to make here is you don't blame Pep. Pep has his philosophy, and it is his prerogative to use his philosophy wherever he goes. It's down to you whether to take his philosophy. You can't blame him if you take upon his philosophy. Keeping in mind, you don't have the players to execute said philosophy. A philosophy is only effective if you have the tools in which to properly execute it. All because it's a winning philosophy doesn't mean it's going to work for you. Because Pep had the specific players and he could acquire the specific players to say, what's up? A country only has the players of that country. You can't go out and pick out the players that you need. Pep can be like, okay, I want him to execute my plan. Hence why, for internationals, you must always stick to culture. Because culture and the way you play football, it's interconnected. It's interconnected. I'm going to do another video of Brazil hiring Carlo Ancelotti and the issue with Brazil handling Carlo Ancelotti, because I think that is an issue. Football is cultural. Football is cultural. But we'll discuss more about this on the Saturday's Hunger because I think that would be a great debate. It'll be a great debate on Saturday's Hunger to discuss and get what people on the streets and people think about it. So guys, please like that vid, subscribe if you're new, head over there to that official website, and I shall see you guys on. And also head over here to the join us on that live show, man. Peace out, stay true, stay real.